I got to record your thoughts about the whole thing. Give me your honest opinion.
It really resonates with me. The colors, the depth, the icon. I haven't quite taken it all in yet, but the story I told you, it just totally emotes what I explained to you, my feelings about my dad hunting, growing up in Wisconsin, Michigan, being out west. It's fabulous. It's kind of like a history, of what I've been about my whole life.
Yeah.
The ducks, the waterfowl. So kind of work on the pecans.
Yeah, so I still wanted that southern piece of me to come in. And, well, there's a couple of reasons. All my works, I want to look like an old graffiti wall, like an old aged graffiti wall that's been worked over 50 million different times. And so what was happening was I liked all of this here.
Yeah, I love it.
But at the time I had done, and this wasn't in yet, the pecans thing. And so I was driving down to Thomasville on a hunt, and I was like, the piece still doesn't feel. I need a southern element in there. Yeah. I want just like when people look at it, I still want somebody to be like, oh, somebody from the South must have made this. And I was driving, and I'm really big into sign painting, like the old school version of sign, and and so I was like, I was driving down in Ashley's favorite spot. It's called Merrick's Pecans, and so these exact letters were on the side of the building.
That's awesome.
And so I was like, let me try to, like, what would be on an old graffiti? What's something that I can add into an old age graffiti wall that stands away from this kind of cursive thing I got going on?
Country.
Yeah.
Country vibe.
It's still, right. I still want that part of like rural America in there. Still, and I still want a piece of Georgia in there. I know it's your story about Wisconsin, but I was like, I still need to feel like me. Yeah. And I want something that would, if this were on a regular wall, it would make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the same way that like old graffiti would still make sense.
The whitetail buck. I saw this as a kid, and you never saw deer. You never deer anywhere.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and him with two does in the fall. I was driving my boat and go fishing.
Yeah.
It was like, it stands up in my memory to this day. He was up to his middle leg in water.
Yeah.
The does were following him. It was the most majestic thing I've ever seen in my life. I was probably 12 years old. I didn't even think deer were around at that point. Now they're like woodcarp in Wisconsin.
I thought it was cool that, again, I don't know a world that isn't filled with white-tailed deer. Like, even in the South, there's a lot of up north. I expect that, especially in Wisconsin. That is a go-to state for.
But it wasn't back in the day.
Right, and I think that's really interesting. And so what I thought I would do, in the same way that like cave paintings kind of have like a magical kind of feel about it, you sitting there and knowing that you're a duck hunter, right? Like, that part is important. But I was like, what if a magical like whitetail walked through a duck decoy spread? Like, what if I can incorporate all of these elements that are important to you in your history and talk about origins, but at the same time, it feel like this magical thing walking through? And like, if we're sitting out here, there's your decoy spread, and like that buck turned back and looked at you like, whoa, hey, hello.
And he did look at me. He looked at me. He was knee deep in water. He looked at me. I was 12 or 13.
Yeah.
It just like seared in my mind. He had his two does, and it was just misty fall morning.
Yeah.
September, October. And he kind of looked at me like, dang, he caught me.
Yeah.
I usually don't let my guard down.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I wanted to shoot him, but I just was so stunned that he was there.
Yeah.
He was so big and majestic. It was,
I was hoping, well, and
it stands out pretty with the ducks and
yeah, I was hoping that like this, because this is gold leaf, all of this, and I was hoping that would be the thing that would make it kind of feel.
It's full of forest around there.
Yeah. And, you know, I was hoping you were gonna like, you know, and just I like dichotomy, like playing against different elements. So again, how do things stand off of each other? How do I make this deer look soft on a hard surface?
Yeah, it's cool.
You know, and if it were Neolithic times, like would that, you know, but also at the same time, if it were today's times, does it fit the context of the time? Yes, hunting has been something that we've done since the dawn of time. So it needs to look like it would be appropriate then and appropriate now. And what is the, like without, and again, this is just a thing about me, without signing my name at the bottom, because I just, on my big paintings, I actually don't like my signature or anything on the front. I always put it on the back. I feel like it takes away, but without signing my name, what would say, hey, this is who this artist was, right there.
Yeah.
You know, and then...
And both pieces of art there.
Yes, and I wanted, you should be able to move across...
You can tell the story.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was hoping.
It couldn't be more lazy.
Well, I'm glad you like it, man. I'm just excited about this. So this was by far my favorite piece to do, like in a very long time. This was the most fun to make.